What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, we've had Plague Star out for almost a week at this point, and I've been doing lots and lots of strategies and testing as far as drone spawn locations, builds that are feeling good, realistic situations that you can expect in a Plague Star bounty. And I'll be going over my favorite loadout today, as well as some recommendations to you if you're looking to run some public matchmaking missions, or maybe just some chill runs with some friends. We'll be showing how to get a reliable, close drone spawn, no matter which mixer it is. Additionally, the tower that I was showing in my previous group guide, after further testing, it really wasn't as consistent. It can still get some good drone spawns, but the one we got today is a near foolproof method. After lots and lots of research, we have more details on how these drone spawns work in the 2023 version of Plague Star, so let's get right into it. But before we do, make sure you sub this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads. Also check out the live stream as well. I've probably done about 20-ish hours of Plague Star or more, and it's still going to be here for another week, so I'll be playing lots more Plague Star in the future too. Additionally, like I said, we are going to be talking about forced drone spawning in here. If some of this stuff doesn't make any sense to you, don't worry, it's not very important. I have the actual strategy front and center, and then we'll talk additionally about drone forced spawn details later in the video. Alright, so let's get right into it. So, the idea of this strategy guide is to show you how you can carry public squads. Like, you just load in, you got people that don't want to listen to you, they don't want to stay into this place, they don't want to stay at this place. As long as you can convince your public matchmaking squad mates to stand in one specific location, or rather a ballpark of that specific location, you will get these good drone spawns. If they can't listen to one simple request of, hey, just go near the boil and chill, then there's nothing you can really do at that point anyway. They're just running around in every little corner of the map. That's just how it is sometimes. But yeah, the reason that I'm saying this is because we are going to have a new forced drone spawn location. I'm going to show you right now. And it's really, really straightforward and simple. You don't even need to stand a specific spot. As long as you stand somewhat near the boil, like basically where you DPS the hemo site from, it is going to pull where you are. Let's go ahead and fast forward this. It's going to pull where you are when it picks a new drone spawn location. And the great thing is, since we're trying to bring the drone over to the boil, our options of where the drone can spawn are actually relatively limited. It's going to be pretty close no matter where you stand near the boil, no matter which mixer you get. So you can stand right on top of that rock Wisp usually plays Moton, but I'm just showing right now it's not necessary. So I'm just walking around, and there we go. We get a really close drone spawn location. That's what the idea is going to be for the public squads, guys, okay? I'm trying to make a easy, mindless pub squad strat right here. So if you load in with a high power strength Volt, and you are able to instruct your teammates, hey, can we just all go near the boil after the defense objective is done? If they can follow that simple request, there you go. You're going to get your 300-meter drone spawn. The furthest I've seen is about 600 meters on this one. But reminder, this is going to work on any mixers, okay? So let's go ahead and show what build I'm using here, what weapons I'm using here, because the weapons and builds I'm using in this background footage are some of my favorite builds for all of Plague Star. That's actually after almost an entire week of playing Plague Star. Nova is really not as necessary anymore, just because Volt speed works on the drone. It makes it go really, really quick. So my weapons of choice for this are going to be Prisma Gorgon for boss DPS with a corrosive or a blast build and a ton of fire rate. My ad clear, trash ad clear weapon to spawn the hemo site faster is going to be the Occucore. And the Occucore is literally so good for this that don't even bother bringing a Mesa. Don't even bother bringing a Mirage or whatever. Just bring the Occucore and then jump in Arwing. Arwing will also be very helpful here. As you can see, I'm flying above the infested. They're not going to kill me. Another very important part of this is jumping in Arwing when you're supposed to. After that, we're using the Vassalok for armor strip on the hemo site with a Shattering Impact mod. The companion also is kind of nice to make sure you get a good companion as well. We're bringing the Panzerwolfephyla. I was using Worm Prime for a bit, but Worm Prime is just really not as powerful as the Panzerwolfephyla, unfortunately. So you can still use Worm Prime, but as far as not dying, I'd recommend the Panzer over the Worm, as Negate from the Worm prevents one status proc every 5 seconds, but you're getting Toxin procs more than once every 5 seconds here. So as you can see, I'm using the Occucore. I instantly spawn another wave of the hemo site here, and it's as simple as that. So we drop our Volt speed for increased reload speed and attack speed. We use Rest and Rage from Equinox to make ourselves a mini Speed Nova. Then we hop into Arwing and we just camp the heads. The Prisma Gorgon will give you some mini stuns while blasting out the bullets. If you have the Metamorphic Magazine mod, if you don't have that, augment, then just use the Boar Prime Incarnate instead. And then just melt it down. So let's go ahead and show some of the builds that are used in here. and how you can actually capitalize on this in squads. So my build is as much power strength as possible. We want to get our speed multiplier crazy high on the drone, as when we cast it, the drone is moving at 4 times the speed. If you have additional buffs from teammates, you can get this to like 8 times the speed even in some extreme situations. We have the first ability, we've helmeted off the 4th ability, the Nuka Volt for Rest and Rage from Equinox. Now, to be fair, you can either choose the 3 or the 4. I'm not even using the electric shields here, but they can give you an additional damage bonus if you shoot through them. But I'm not doing that, like I said, so really helmet off whatever you feel like here. Maybe you could use the 4th ability for some ad clear if you prefer that. As far as the actual mods on the build, I have put 2 Umbra Forma on Volt. This is going to be because, you know, in the future for Eidolon hunts, this towel resistance should prevent their damage to be doing full damage to my Volt. But additionally, it gives us a ton of extra power strength. We have an unranked Umbra Fiber. If I take out this Umbra Fiber, we lose about 20% power strength, and we lose a lot of other stats too. So even an unranked Umbra Fiber will be worth the slot for giving us additional power strength for a low amount of drain. But yeah, the rest of the build, we have triple Umbral for EHP stats and power strength. Keep in mind, you will still get one shot. Like, that's why you jump in Arcwing. You will still get one shot by a random charger, so make sure you're in Arcwing for this. We've got Sprint Boost to increase the speed of Arcwings, also just to increase the speed of Volt. You can change this if you want to, but this is the one I like the most. And preferably your teammates would have Power Donation as well, giving you more power strength. Prime your footage just to not get knocked over. Prime Flow for energy. Since the Steel Path, or air quotes, Steel Path Plague Star is a fake Steel Path, you could probably take this off because you just can spam energy pads like crazy. Narrow-minded for longer duration. We have Transient Fortitude to give us negative duration, so we kind of need some duration increase right here. You could technically go with Prime Continuity to increase your range and not reduce your... give you more range, but also give you more duration too. It would be less duration, but it would also, you know, be more range, so you can cast your Rest and Rage from further. With this amount of range, you need to cast Rest and Rage pretty close to the boss, but it's not that big of a deal. Blind Rage for power strength, Transient Fortitude for power strength, and Shock Trooper for an electric damage bonus. It scales with strength, so we have a 406% electric damage bonus on our weapons. We've got Arc and Acceleration to spam out more bullets faster to melt the Hemocyte, as it has damage attenuation. You want to release so many bullets really quickly, basically. And Arc and Avenger for orange and red crits. As far as the Prismagorgon build, I have shown this quite a few times in the past. If you don't have the Prismagorgon, I will show another build later for the Boar Incarnon, but we've got Hoplite Virtue, Rapid Reinforcement, and Absolute Valor, that's the most crit chance you can basically get in the Prismagorgon. Now we're using an interesting arcane here. We're using primary plated rounds. I was telling you we have a lot of fire rate on here, and I wasn't kidding. We can empty our entire 228 round magazine in a couple seconds. And what primary plated rounds does, on reload, deal increased damage per round loaded of the base magazine, or the max magazine size. Lasts only for 10 seconds, unfortunately. If we fully reload our entire magazine, we will get a 540% damage bonus for 10 seconds. 10 seconds is enough time to kill an entire Hemocyte. So that's how I look at this. Now, I'm firing so many bullets that maybe Primary Deadhead could be good to give reduced recoil, or maybe to take off Vigilant Supplies for reduced recoil, but, you know, it's been melting it really nice and quickly right now, so I'm going to keep it like this. The Riven is Toxin, Multi-Shot Fire Rate, and minus Grenier. So if I have to fight a Grenier, that's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, it melts it nice and quick. But if you don't have this mod, especially if you don't have this mod, Metamorphic Magazine, inflicting 20 cumulative attacks on an enemy will petrify them for 5 seconds. If you don't have this, don't use this weapon, basically. But yeah, this is my favorite weapon for the current event, and Plated Rounds is not necessary, but kind of fun for 540% increased damage. Beta the Infested because the boss isn't infested. Alright, moving on to the Ocucore. This is not a Helminth, but it is very, very powerful. This is going to be used to kill the trash ads. We've got Prime Expel Infested for anti-infested damage, and just, you know, the standard galvanized stuff here. I put on Ice Storm instead of the 60/60 mod, as we don't really need status procs here, and a little bit more magazine size is nice. We have Sentient Surge, level 9 on this current Nightwave. Go get this if you don't have it already. Going to give you refill on your magazine when you get a kill. Pretty nice with Ruinous Extension, increasing the beam length of your pistol. It's pretty flexible here. You could actually throw on a Corrosive build instead of a Lyra if you preferred, but it really works fine. And then the Vastalock, I've shown this 20 times already, but just maximum attack speed, and then you want Shattering Impact. You can literally do the entire thing with no mods and just Shattering Impact, which I was actually doing for quite a bit without realizing. But yeah, if you want to actually throw on mods there, throw on, like, you know, combo duration mods on attack speed and all that. We're on Xenoric Focus Tree in case we do fight a Thumper, the second ability of Xenoric. Temporal Drag, I believe it's called. This will slow down the Thumper by 80% and make it easy to farm the Thumper and give you some more resources for your time. As far as the companion, I didn't really make a specific companion build for this. I'm just using my normal double bond build on the Panzer. We've got Viral Quills, Martyr Symbiosis, and Panzer Evolution. The abilities of the Panzer basically just lets it keep you alive. We've got Tech Assault for chance it will not die. Bite for increased crit chance, so it gives you Tenacious Bond for crit damage. Calculated Redirection and Reinforced Bond for fire rate on your frame. Fetch, pick up loot. Now, something that you could definitely consider running here is you could run something like this, the Equinox or the Equilibrium Endurance build. Synth Deconstruct will give you additional orbs from enemies. You could also run Hunter Recovery, which will give you some lifesteal, or rather the companion will heal you from their damage, if you want to do that. But I actually like to have Prime Animal Instinct on here to see where the loot and endo is on the map. So I can just absorb it up with my Itzel. Speaking of Itzel, that's the arc I'm going to recommend for this. The abilities of Itzel are going to make it where you can drag in all the loot. Basically, a massive loot absorption ability on Cosmic Crush. Also lets you pull the trash ads in as well, so you can, kill them quickly. As far as the build, the build is not very important. I'm just going to let you know that. I'd say the things that matter, ability, range, and probably Hyperion thrusters, I guess, for more movement speed. But remember, you're also on Volt, so the Volt speed works on the Arcwings. This is not as important at all. It's also a 20 drain mod. Rest of this stuff, really up to personal preference. All you need is Energy Amplifier for range increase. I've got Cold Snap to make the enemies frozen, and also it just looks cool. And as far as the rest of the stuff, 5 Archon Tau Shards for power strength. If you don't have these, it's going to be less power strength. You usually only have one teammate in your team running the Volt speed, because only the highest power strength Volt speed will take effect. We've got a light energy color, so we can speed up the boss with Rest and Rage from Equinox's ability. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some of these 4 spawn locations and the additional details I've actually discovered since the last video on the Tower of Gaz, basically. Now, the reason that the Tower of Gaz does not work every single time is because after extensive research on these 4 spawn locations, we have discovered that there is a multitude of factors included when they take one of these locations as a 4 spawn spot. One of them being the initial cave you get, the second one being the mixer you get, and then the third factor being where you're standing when you are doing these 4 spawn situations. So with those 3 factors in mind, that's why I'm saying that the most foolproof pub map method should be, going forward, everybody just go chill by the boil. It's called boil and chill. And you can be anywhere on the map. You can be fighting a thumper in the random corner. As long as you get to somewhat nearby the boil when the objective is done, then you will get a somewhat reliable close spawn. The variety of spawn locations I have seen for this spot vary between the closest one possible, which is basically like 250 meters. The furthest one on this is about 600 meters. That's not that bad, especially when you're running a build like this where we're increasing the speed of the drone by 4 times or more. That's going to mean that you can basically just do this in public matchmaking, carry your teammates. The primary is not as important. I should probably show the Boar Prime build, but I've shown the Boar Prime build in previous videos too. So the big thing here is make sure you cast your Rest and Rage on the boss when it's walking out of the boil. If you don't have if you're in a public matchmaking, there's no Speed Nova. You are the Speed Nova. This is like the all-inclusive Volt build right here. And of course, you could just solo this if you wanted to. But if you're going in public matchmaking, just be like, yo guys, can you go to the boil after we do this objective? You got a 3-minute timer, basically, and that's all you need them to do. It's not like, go wait by the door and then go over here. Like, when I go in public matchmaking missions, I don't want orders barked at me, basically. If someone just says, hey, let's all go to the boil, this is the accepted strat at this point for public matchmaking missions, that seems acceptable to me. Okay, all I have to do is go by the boil. Okay, I'm going to go kill this thumper, and then I'm going to go fishing, and then once I'm done with that, maybe I'll go to the boil. If you don't go to the boil, hey, you know what? That's just public matchmaking in general, so. I'm going to go ahead and show you on the plains what spawn locations you can get from this method. And as far as, what you can expect mostly. So if you are going to be doing this, which I do highly recommend, as it is much more straightforward than double force spawning, which some people have been trying to tell me to do, we're going to go to the plains right now. Now, as far as how this is going to work, I'm going to show you where I want you to stand if you are doing this method. As, we've had reliable, under 8-minute runs in a full squad. In a single-player squad, it's also going to be under 8-minute runs as well, with relatively chill gameplay, I'd say. All right, so as far as where you should stand on the plains, so of course it's after the defensive objective is done. You want everyone to go. Now you could either go like I said, it's a pretty flexible. If preferably everybody stands right here, But like we've had people just standing like right around here, you know, like on top of this rock over here. Like it really is pretty flexible. And the reason this is so good is because the spawn locations around here are all within a couple hundred meters. There's a spawn location you can get right there, usually from the initial exilizers, or sorry, the defensive objectives. You can get this spawn right here, another pretty close one. Some of the worst ones you can get are going to be right here. That's about 400 meters. Actually, it's like right around there. It's around 400 meters, but I mean, you can literally see the boil from here, so is it really that bad? There's also a spawn location that can give you right here. So it's not going to be the same spawn location every time, but it will be a close spawn location every time. The worst of the worst you can get, I don't know exactly which combination of caves and mixtures it was, but it was like right around here. Now that one I would call pretty bad, but we're also trying to find a easy, reliable method for public matchmaking missions. So even if you had a mixer right here, still go, like, let's jump over here to this mixer, and I think after we had that mixer with that cave over there, and we stood here, it gave us a spawn, like, right around here. So about 400 meters, takes like 10 seconds for Volt to get that drone over to there. So I think this is great. This is what I've been doing on stream. It's what I've been doing solo as well, because I'm not looking to, like, jump back and forth just to get the same drone spawn location every time. This is going to be a different drone spawn location every time, but it's going to be a close drone spawn location every time. It's much easier to herd your teammates, kind of like sheep a little bit, to these spawn locations. So hope you guys found this video fun and helpful. If you have any other Plague Star tips that you'd like to give in the comment section down below, feel free. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Appreciate all the support. Take it easy. Bye.